Okay, super simple dinner tonight. Sorry if it's a bit dark. The light that's usually right above me here has blown. It's been blown for about 3 weeks now, and the real estate is still looking into it. We can't change it, unfortunately, because it is a downlight. Anyways, I digress. We're making slow cooker massaman beef curry. I've done the cold water defrost method on this chunk beef, this beef blade, since this morning. It's only just cool now, so I really want to get this going. Tea towel. Okay. Got my large slow cooker on high. What I'm going to do is roughly dice some potatoes. The recipe calls for 8 small potatoes. I think I've got about 8 in here. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect. Yes, these are Woolies potatoes. These are a carry on from last month. My partner Ben decided he wanted to cook a dinner that called for some potatoes specifically, and we were out. So he just went to Woolies and bought some. But that is a-okay because we're using them up now. So these are literally all just roughly diced. They're not diced the same, all the same. Size, shape, just whatever. That's the beauty of slow cooker dinners. Just missed the bin, that's okay, I'll get that in a minute. So putting my potatoes in, 2 onions quartered, or it's just cut into thick wedges, so I'm just going to quarter it. I need my bin like next to me in the kitchen. I need to bring it over whenever I'm cooking. That's okay, it's such a small issue that I have to walk over to the bin all the time. Or I could just let all the stuff pile up on the bench until I'm finished cooking instead of doing little runs to the bin. Anyway, it's not important. You'll notice when I'm cooking, I just talk out loud whatever I'm thinking. So, quartered 1 onion. You know what? I'm not going to actually risk it with that onion. It's covered in black mold on the outside. And it was a bit too soft when I cut into it just then. Because these onions are so small, I'm just going to do 2 more. I don't mind if there's a little bit of the black. I don't even know if it's technically mold. Let me know if you know down in the comments, but I'm going to just say mold on the outside skin if I'm taking that off. But that onion just before was, yeah, I think a bit too far gone. This recipe doesn't call for any garlic. It's literally just your 8 small potatoes, your 2 onions cut into thick wedges. I'm doing 3 because they're not very big. So there's my second onion. Third onion. I think actually my beef is supposed to be going down first. which I mean, it's not that big of a deal if the beef is down first or last, if you're cooking it on low, but I'm just thinking because I am cooking it on high for 4 hours, I'm gonna put the beef down first. Because it's telling me to, I'm gonna do that. So my chunk steak, looking for my scissors, they're not to be found, that's okay. My kitchen scissors are kind of the everything scissors. They get washed between use because they're not used in the kitchen, but they're still my everything scissors. Okay, beef smells fine. I just always like to smell my meat after it's been defrosted. So the beef chunk, I'm not going to cut it up. Okay, while my pan is heating up, I'm going to combine my 400 ml of coconut milk with my 1 jar of Thai massaman curry and my chicken broth to make it a paste. And I'm just going to get a small pot for this just because I'm out of, I need to buy some more mixing bowls. So coconut milk, I'm just going to do half a cup of chicken broth. The recipe calls for 1 cup, but the recipe calls for 1 cup, but the recipe notes says if you want your sauce to be that little bit thicker, just reduce your chicken stock down to half a cup. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, there goes my spoon. Okay, and I need, it calls for 114 grams of curry paste. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in 3/4 of this jar. The rest can go in the fridge for another recipe. Give that a good mix. And that's it for the sauce. So this just gets poured on top at the end. Okay, my pan is super hot. I'm going to start the exhaust, but I'm just going to fry this meat off for 3 to 4 minutes before putting it in the slow cooker. Alright, I've turned the heat off. I can cook it all in the pan at once because I got the pan so hot before I put it in. I'm going to spray the base of my slow cooker just with a little bit of oil. Chuck the beef in. I'm so looking forward to this, and our daughter's been enjoying slow cooked beef a lot, so she'll have some beef and potatoes out of this curry. Okay, my slow cooker's on high, so I've just got the beef in there. My onions and potatoes I'll layer on top. And then over the top, I'm going to pour our sauce. There's quite a bit of curry paste in the bottom there. I'm just going to use a little bit more water, which is fine because I'm already using less than the recipe states, less liquid. And I'm just going to get the rest of that curry paste out. It smells so good. Massaman curry is definitely one of my favorite curries at the moment. Used to be Thai green curry, but it's definitely massaman. So I'm going to leave this now for 4 hours and dinner will be cooked. We've got some of our naan breads we keep in the freezer that we're going to have with this. I might make a little bit of rice, but that will be it. I'm thinking as well, I've got some eggplants in there. I might do some roasted eggplants as a little bit of a side to this curry, but we'll just see how we're feeling this afternoon. Tonight we are having chicken rissoles with some pumpkin grown from the garden. I finally harvested almost all of our pumpkins yesterday. I think I counted about 16. I'll have to recount, but I'm going to cut into one of them tonight. So we're going to have pumpkin with some chicken rissoles and maybe some peas with kupi. I love this recipe. I got it around COVID time, walking into Woolies. Around that time, it was actually before COVID. I was walking into Woolies and they had like brochures for just some recipes, and there was one of them. And it is such a hit. It is very, you would look at it and not think it's as tasty as it is. I'm doing a double batch tonight. My intentions are to make the usual rissoles that I do, and then with half of it make small kind of meatballs. I'm going to cook it all, but then freeze the small meatballs as a quick, maybe like chicken meatball pasta with a marinara sauce. Later next month, we'll see, but it's going to be dinner next month after work one day, so that's going to be great. So I've got a kilo of chicken. I've just grated 1.5 carrots because it was quite big. I'm going to grate a second red onion and also about 1.5 cups of cheese. It might seem odd. I'm not sure if I've cooked this recipe on this channel, but it might seem odd that I'm grating an onion, but it's actually genius that you do this for a meatball because it adds that moisture to it, and then you don't have like big chunks of onions when you're trying to roll out a meatball. So it's really great. I do this now when I do any type of meatballs. If it says to dice up a brown onion, I grate it. Of course, though, you've got to be worried with potentially making it too wet if you're already adding in like moisture, but you can fix that with a little bit more breadcrumbs. Oh, these red onions are juicy. I'm making a mess here because this small chopping board should not be used for dinners. It should be used for cutting up a little bit of banana bread or a little bit of cheese for lunch, not this. Yet I keep going to use it. But anyways, we've started, so I'll persevere. We usually have this with sweet potato mash, but we're out of sweet potatoes and we're kind of near the end of the month. So We were supposed to do another mid-month fruit and veg shop, but we've been sick. I mentioned in one of my last videos that our daughter was unwell. She was unwell, and then myself, my partner got gastro. Lola dodged that, we thought. She instead had like a runny nose, just like a respiratory illness. And then 2 days after, Lola has now got gastro. Our daughter's got gastro, and I've got what Lola had. So it's been a time. The reason I'm saying that is we haven't got our second fruit and veg shop done. So I'm really just making things stretch till the end of the month, which is fine. We can do that. And I might just have to go, because the fruit and veg shop's a bit of a drive away, and it's bad if there's traffic. So I might just have to do a few little Woolies shop for fruit and veg, which isn't ideal, but we do what we can do. And I'm lucky I can do that because it's just down the road. So second onion, we can see it releases a lot of the moisture, but we want all of that for the juices, should I say. We want all of that for our meatballs. Okay. So that's that. Don't need the grater anymore. Alright, I'm going to do a very quick bench clean up here. These benches are very porous, so if I leave a little bit of red onion on them, it will stay stained for weeks. So into this, we don't need any eggs or anything, and it works out just fine every time. I'm going to put 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs because I'm doubling the recipe. Just had to go find my scissors that always go on all sorts of adventures every day. That was just under 1 cup. Why isn't this okay, that was just under 1 cup, so I'm going to add just a little bit more in there. Okay, we also want 1 teaspoon of mixed herbs, so I'm just going to estimate that. Why not? Okay. I look a little bit under the weather. It is because I am. I've got a bit of a fever, so I'm trying to stay on top of that. Okay. Alright, so we want to now mix this all together, get our chicken mince out. I'm trying to leave behind as much of the juices as I can. And give it a good mix. I am really looking forward to cutting into my pumpkin. I've got to think about what I'm going to do with all the pumpkins, so stay tuned because I'm going to be making all sorts of pumpkin things. And at our local fruit and veg shop, it's quite a reasonable price at the moment because it is in season, hence why I've just picked it because I've grown it. So if you want to know how you can maybe incorporate pumpkin as a bit of a cheaper veg, given that it is in season, please follow along because I will next month be doing quite a bit with pumpkin. I'll be giving it away to friends, family and neighbours as well. That's all though, relying on the fact that all that pumpkin is okay to eat, like it's ripe enough. I will be cutting into them before giving them away, just to make sure that the seeds are fully formed in the middle and it's looking nice and orange. So that is a bit too wet. I'm just going to wash my hands. I would usually just buy 500 grams of chicken mince and make one batch, but one recipe worth of these chicken rissoles. I've probably added a good third of a cup there of panko breadcrumbs. But I've done 1 kilo because it was cheaper to buy 1 kilo, and I thought I want to start putting, while I'm cooking dinner, going to the effort of making it dinners like this that I can freeze. I want to make double. I want to Ziploc a whole dinner's worth, if not more, up. Label it, put it in the freezer, because when I go back to work 3 days a week next month, I really want to have dinners ready. Whether it's dinners I've cooked and frozen, ready to heat up again. I also want to have some crock pot meals mixed together in Ziploc bags that I put in the freezer that I can get out the day before to defrost them, and then that morning or the morning of the day of work, chuck them in the slow cooker so that that evening I have dinner ready. So if you want to know what I'm going to be doing for that, if you feel like that could help you as well, please, please, please follow along. I'll be showing you what I do, because it's a bit, I'll be doing the research. I'm going to look at recipes that can last all day in the freezer, that don't need to be pre-cooked in the saucepan a little bit before putting in the slow cooker, that can just all be mixed together and put in, because not all slow cooker recipes are like that, and quite frankly, not all of them are like whole meals, if that makes sense. Anyways, follow along, because that's going to be my next venture. I'm going to hopefully do that at the start of next month. Alright, so here I am going to do my rissoles first, approximately 8. I've made these quite a few times before, so I kind of know it's roughly like a palm size that I like to do. I'm really hoping my daughter will like these as well. It's a nice texture for her. Lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to do really small little ones for the oven, like really small, because I want them to be kind of meatball size for pasta. That's my plan.
Future Maddie here. I just wanted to let you know how that beef curry went last night. It was so great. I didn't film the end result, but it was perfect after 4 hours. It didn't need any longer than that on high. I ended up cooking some of that roadie, like I said, that we had in the freezer for a really quick little side. And we had some roasted eggplant, super quick. I just diced it up, covered it in some olive oil and a little bit of salt and pepper, and put it in the air fryer on the chip setting until it was really nice and roasted. So that was a really great side that we had with the curry. Back to these meatballs. I am so thrilled that I was able to do a double batch, even though I wasn't feeling the best on this night. You know, it wasn't much more effort to grate a little bit more carrot, grate a little bit more onion, and roll out these small meatballs. You'll see at the end here that I just put them in a Ziploc bag with a label on them, so I knew when I cook them, ready to defrost and just warm through when we go to eat it. Although I really wanted to cut into a pumpkin and roast it, wasn't the night for the pumpkin, and we ended up just having these meatballs, well, the rissoles, with some peas and mayo, and it was delicious. This is what my meatballs look like that went into the freezer, so I'm going to be really grateful for that in the near future.
Tonight we are having nachos. It is Sunday afternoon. We are getting to the end of the month. I didn't do a top-up fruit and veg shop this month because we had all been sick and it was just not a priority. So I've had to go to Woolies a few times to get a few different fruit and veg. I bought this corn the other day. It was $1 per cob, which was pretty reasonable. And I just had to go and get some tomatoes because we like to have some tomatoes on our nachos. I also wanted to cook what's left of the corn cob, steam it a little bit for our daughter to try and have a taste of some corn on the cob. So I'll cook this in just a little bit of butter, I think. So all that's left of the butter is this butter that I melted for pancakes. And so I'm going to get out as much as I can. And this is what it usually looks like by the end of the month. We've used up most of the staples in our fridge, which I don't mind at all. And also got sour cream to use up, which will be perfect tonight. Oil. And some salt and pepper. So what I've just done is quickly whip up some taco seasoning. It's so simple if you haven't made this at home or haven't thought to, and you have like your typical spices. I guarantee you can make really, really good taco seasoning at home. I'll link the recipe down below, but all it is dried chilies, cumin, paprika, oregano, onion and garlic powder, salt and pepper. My beef out that I defrosted this morning. It's 1 kilo, so I'm going to use half and keep half for a small batch of bolognese that I'll make this week. What I need to do now is get the black beans drained and rinsed and grate some cheese. I bought lots of cheese last month, way more than we needed throughout the month. So I've still got 1 and a bit blocks, so that's great for tonight. And I've got to chop up the tomatoes. You can smell the corn. It's cooking away nicely over there. I contemplated going to the fruit and veg shop just before, but it's a bit of a drive away and it's not guaranteed to have what I need, and I just needed some nice cherry tomatoes. They don't always have cherry tomatoes, so I thought I'm just going to go to Woolies and that's that. And these look really nice. They're super small. They're just the usual cherry tomatoes. They're not the small ones you can buy, like the snacking tomatoes, I think they're called. They're really, really little, but I thought these would be perfect for the nachos. I'm not using a salsa or anything, just the tomatoes. All right, that corn is almost done. That will do for now.
So here I am just assembling my nachos. Put way too many chips down, but I wanted to use the whole packet. I ended up cutting up just a little bit more tomato and a bit more cheese. I didn't buy salsa because I feel like I'd made nachos plenty of times before without salsa, but it definitely did, or it could have done with a bit of salsa. Anywho, it was still a really delicious dinner. This is how it turned out. We had it with some guacamole and some sour cream.
Tonight is Friday night, and although my partner is away for the next 2 nights, I still wanted to take the opportunity to make something delicious for myself, for Lola, and for lunch tomorrow. So I'm going to be making spinach and ricotta cannelloni. It was on my list of meals to make last month. I didn't get around to it, so I've got the ricotta to use up. Going to be using it tonight. I want to get the sauce done first because you want to simmer the sauce. The recipe that I use, that I'll link down below, says to let it simmer for 20 minutes, but it's only 4 o'clock, so I'm going to let it simmer for a good hour before assembling the cannelloni with the spinach and ricotta and then chucking it in the oven. The longer the better with all of these kind of tomato-based bolognese sauces. So that's what we're going to do. It also gives me the chance to turn the aircon on and cool off this main area before we do the rest of the work for dinner because it's a little bit warm. So I'm going to quickly get this on. I've got everything ready, and then I'll see you a little bit later for when we assemble it all and put it in the oven for dinner. So I'm going to put in the onions. So 1 onion diced, 4 garlic cloves, but I'm putting in my little garlic puck that I've got from the freezer. And that is it. I'm going to give it a good stir. So while that's going, I'm going to get my 4 cups of chicken broth ready because I use my chicken bone broth instead of like stock cubes or stock from the like ready-made stock. So there's 2. I'm going to get 3 out of this jar. I bought a new jar. When I did my February grocery haul, I bought a new jar. I'll wash that jar out so we're not wasting any. So I would say that's 3. So I'll do 1 cup. 1 teaspoon of this chicken bone broth to 1 cup of water, but I'll just mix it all in and then add extra cups of water in when I'm cooking. A bit of more olive oil in. I don't want that garlic. Alright, so there is my onion and garlic has cooked down a little bit. 1/3 of a cup of tomato paste. 3 of the frozen ice cube portions of the tomato paste in is going to do. I haven't actually measured that, just eyeballed it. So I'll wait for that to melt down a little bit. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put it all in now. So 800 grams of crushed tomatoes. Yes. There's my 3 cup portions of chicken broth, and I'm going to go ahead and put in 1 more cup portion and then 2 cups of water. So there we go. And I like to keep my chicken bone broth in the fridge. It says you don't have to, but I'm not keeping an open chicken product out in this 35-degree heat. That's my 4 portions of chicken broth, and I'm just going to add, it cups. But I'm honestly just going to put 1 more cup of water in, so 3 cups of liquid, because I feel like that is going to be plenty. And then I'll add some more liquid in if needed. We've made this lots of times before. A little bit of chili, it's not on the some thyme, some oregano, and some salt. I probably actually should not have put salt in because that chicken broth's quite salty, but that's okay. Can't take it out now. And pepper, a good amount of pepper. All right, it's a bit warm, so I'm literally going to leave it at that. I'm going to put it on medium, put the lid on, and leave it for 20 minutes. All right, so it's time to make the filling for the cannelloni and assemble it. The tomato base for the cannelloni has been simmering for just over an hour now, if not a little bit more, about an hour and a half. I've got my cheese grated. I've got some extra cheese here in case we need it. I've been defrosting the frozen spinach that I get from Woolies. And it just says to try and roughly squeeze out as much moisture as you can. So I just did that. I'm going to need a bowl. Actually, I'm just going to put it straight in here and mix it in here. So 1 bag of spinach. Yes, I just double checked all the filling ingredients go into the bag. So I've got here my ricotta. How much ricotta is here? It calls for 500 grams of ricotta, and I've got 375, so which is an odd amount. It's not you wonder why it's not just 4. Well, you know why it's not just 400 grams because of trying to get as well, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of brands are sneakily reducing their products' weight and quality, I suppose. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they had to do it to keep the cost down. Okay, so ricotta, spinach, 1/3 of a cup of parmesan. I'm not going to measure it, I'm just going to put in what feels like 1/3 of a cup. Great. And 1 cup of shredded cheese, mozzarella, tasty, whatever you have on hand, and of course Jimmy gets a little bit that's left over. I also need 1 egg, so I'm just going to beat it up in a cup. Perfect. Okay, 1 garlic clove. But I've got about 1/2 of a garlic puck from the freeze that's defrosted, so that will do. And a sprinkle of nutmeg. So I'm just going to seal it almost all the way so the air can get out when I'm massaging it all together. So I'm just going to mix it up the best I can in here. That spinach just needs a little bit of breaking up, but it's pretty much defrosted. usually just spoon it in, but I figured if I use a Ziploc bag as a piping bag, it's going to be a lot quicker, and anything to make things quicker when I've got Lola on me, because it does hurt my back a little bit after a good half an hour. Okay, that is good. Just going to put everything away. I love using frozen spinach. This makes this recipe so easy. I'll use the rest of this parmesan for the topping. So I've got my San Remo instant cannelloni. It's perfect for this size that I've got here. I couldn't tell you what it is, but I know that this packet is perfect for it. I'm going to turn off my big stock pot, and I'm going to put a cup of the tomato sauce in the bottom. Now, if you follow the recipe, there's an optional step to blend this all up together, but I'm not going to dirty my blender for this because it's going to taste just the same, and we don't blend up like any other type of pasta dish sauce, so no different for this. Cut a little corner in my Ziploc bag, and now we're going to pipe it into our cannelloni. My mum's actually going to come round for dinner tonight, which is going to be really nice, so it's not just me and Lola, and she'll enjoy this for dinner. Like I said before, my partner's away all weekend. It's actually harder than I thought it would be. To go down.
So I'm just piping each of these cannellonis one at a time and putting it in my dish. Now, I was so wrong. I could have sworn, I'm going to have to look back on videos. I think I've filmed cannelloni before. I could have sworn this one packet of cannelloni fits this Pyrex dish perfectly, but it didn't. As you could see, there's a bit left in the end there, so I just put some pasta in and then squeeze the remainder of that spinach and ricotta filling on top, and it was absolutely fine. And I topped it with the tomato base as well. It got me thinking, this would be really nice with literally just some pasta, whatever pasta it may be, and get your spinach and ricotta filling and kind of just layer it on top the best you can, probably using a Ziploc bag or similar like I've done, and it will cook really nice, just like a pasta bake, without the effort of filling each of the individual cannelloni if you're time poor. I think I might do that in the future, just as like a option up my sleeve. I'll have it in the like a packet of spiral pasta in the cupboard. I usually always do, and then I can just put the spiral pasta in instead of the cannelloni if I don't have time that night. So just doing a clean up. I like to clean up as much as I can as I go. It keeps me feeling relaxed in the kitchen and a little less stressed. And I don't usually include this part of the night, so if you like to see me cleaning up in the kitchen a bit more, it might be something I either add to my existing format of videos that I like to do, or a separate video altogether. I really wanted to also thank you so much if you've made it this far in the video. I really, really appreciate it. I'm relatively new here on YouTube. I'm not monetized yet. Hopefully I'll be monetized sometime this year, but it's not really about that for me. It's really the kick that I get out of publishing these videos, and also having you guys like my videos and also have a chat with me in the comments. It makes it all worthwhile. These are also the type of videos that I enjoy watching when I'm doing mundane tasks around the house, or if I'm just sitting relaxing and feeding my daughter, or if she's having a nap on me. I love to just put videos like this on in the background for a bit of company, but also something to listen to and watch. So if you enjoy it as well, please let me know. It does really mean the world. This is what the cannelloni ended up looking like. It turned out so good, and it always does, and it's one of those great lunch options with the spinach and ricotta to have the next day.
I hope you can hear me over the kettle. Today I'm doing a bit of a cook-up, a bit of a dinner cook-up. It's about 3 o'clock, 2:33, and I thought I would just get a few things cooking since I have had some meat defrosted in the fridge for a few days. So I had half a kilo of beef mince defrosted. So what I'm doing is a really quick throw together spaghetti bolognese. I've got some carrots, some cut up onion, garlic with my beef mince. I'm just about to put in my frozen little puck of tomato paste. I had a look in the pantry and realized I didn't have any canned tomatoes, but remembered I have this tomato passata from, I believe, when I made butter chicken last month, about 600 mil, so January. So this is going to be perfect for this throw together spaghetti bolognese that I'm doing. And Lowell is about to have some roast pumpkin from last night with some quick cook iron pasta. And then if I bring you over to my fridge, so I've also got this chicken. I thought we were going to have it last night, but we didn't. Ben ended up treating us to a really nice roast beef. He really wanted to cook, so that's fine. It was put in the freezer fresh, so it has been in the fridge for just over 24 hours. I'm going to do the roast chicken with just some roast veggies that we've got. Some potato, some pumpkin from the garden, some eggplant, and that's it. I'll just do a bit of a roast tray with those veggies, and we'll have this either for dinner tonight. We might have the pasta for dinner, but we've got options. If we don't have it for dinner, it's going to be a great lunch meat for the rest of the week with hopefully some sourdough bread. And we've also got some salad down there that we can have, so chicken salad sandwiches if we feel like it as well.
The pumpkin reveal. First time finally cutting into a pumpkin. I gave one away before I even cut one open myself. But this is the smallest one of all the pumpkins that I got from my most recent harvest of the pumpkin patch. You saw it just before. I think 16 in total I counted that we got off the pumpkin patch, and there's still 10 or so immature ones that still need to ripen up on the vine. Don't mind my fly being open, oh well. So cutting into it, it was really tough to cut into, I suppose all pumpkins really are, but I was so happy with the result. It was odd, the middle of the pumpkin, there wasn't like a cavity in there where the seeds usually are. It was just like a small cavity, and the seeds were kind of like in with the flesh of the pumpkin. Anyway, it looked as though as well that this pumpkin was a bit on the riper side, like the overripe side, but I still cooked with it. I was always going to cook with it. I'm not wasting this pumpkin, and it was delicious. And I'm not just saying this, but one of the tastiest pumpkins I've ever eaten. I shouldn't be surprised since it's homegrown, you know, it doesn't have any pesticides. The people that lived in this house before us, you can tell, were, you know, really savvy gardeners. So I feel like the soil out there is really enriched. Really, really delicious pumpkin. We had half of it on this night. With the roast chicken, I just sliced it up, put some oil on it and put it in the oven to bake. And then we had the other half a few nights later for another dinner side. Really, really great. I don't know how many of these pumpkins I'm going to get through. I'll probably keep 3 or 4 to myself. I do want to do a big batch of pumpkin soup for a family member of ours, and to cook a little bit for ourselves as well. So I'll just wait and see, but I'll probably give away 5 or 6, probably more, probably 8 or 9 of these pumpkins. I'm just so thrilled. Hopes and dreams one day I can, you know, grow veggies on a much bigger scale in my garden. But for now, a volunteer pumpkin patch. We didn't even plan ourselves. It sprouted up and has already produced over 16 pumpkins. One of the pumpkins was, it just looked as though there was a disease on it. It had split, and yeah, I didn't even want to cut it open. But apart from that, these have been a success. I did pull one off months ago and it was way too soon. It was not ripe. Unfortunately, I had to throw that out. It didn't taste any good when I roasted it. But I've learnt my lesson. I think I know when to tell that they're ripe now, and hopefully I'll get a few more off the vine. But if I don't, I'm so thrilled. I would have been thrilled with just one pumpkin. But here we are, we've got lots of pumpkins to use. So stay tuned for some pumpkin adventures. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.